So I'm going to go for trying to help Richard with his foot today. He's feeling like off and on having ankle stiffness in his left ankle. So we're going to do some joint mobilization, joint decompressions for his foot. And what I'm going to be thinking about is the angle of the different joints, how the bones meet, what their interface is, so that I can kind of open them apart from each other, taking the bones in opposite directions from where they meet. And then we're going to fancy it up a little bit. Once we get into it, I'll describe what I'm feeling and what I'm doing and the idea of that. But when people are feeling stiffness when they're walking through placing the foot down and toe off, I get really curious about the tibio-talar joint, the top part here, that hinge joint, as well as the subtalar joint underneath, the one that allows for inversion and eversion. So I'm definitely interested in that. I'm interested in whether or not the talus is jammed forward or back relative to the foot or the calf. And then we'll just check out the arches too, to make sure that all these bones can move freely from each other. Here's what that looks like in the way that we work with the body. Which I'm going to have you do that so folks can see. So first, I just sort of think about getting a feel for how does the system move passively. So starting the work, grasping the calcaneus, stabilizing the rest of the foot and ankle. I'm drawing the calcaneus away at a 45-degree angle. And as I do that, I'm feeling for, is it easier for it to go down or is it easier for it to go back as part of that 45? And if I'm not sure, I can just test each direction. So here's testing down, here's testing back. It definitely likes to go down more than it likes to go back. So to free the calcaneus, I'll be thinking about having a clear hold on the calcaneus with one hand. My other hand's going to hold the forefoot, take them apart from each other. And pretty soon I meet a motion barrier, a stiffness, a place where the bones say, I don't like to go further than that these days. Then we're going to add a little fancying up, and what that is a little bit of a spiral between my two hands. I'll show in a little bit what that means, what I mean from that. But if you imagine there was an axis between the two bones, and I could just spiral them one way or the other. You pick the way that feels more firm, and then I sustain through, and then come on out of that. The twist is like this. I had his calcaneus and his forefoot. I took them away from each other, and then you test in rotation. One way is going to make it feel sort of soft and looser, and the other way will feel more snug. Go into the snug way while you're sustaining your decompression, and that really helps enhance the decompression. So now I'm liking how the calcaneus moves back, especially on the inside, but I'm going to do it again with a little bit more focus on the lateral side. So here's me taking those two handholds, but now I'm going to add a little side bend to accentuate the far side of the foot. So they're away from each other. Here's my little side bend. Here's my rotation. And I don't need to pull very long or very hard. And then there, that sort of eases that up a little bit. So I'm liking that. I'm liking the dorsiflexion. When I gather up the proximal transverse arch, these tarsals here that are just after the back third of the foot. And if I just kind of clump them all together and ask, do you like to supinate or do you like to pronate? For his foot, easier to supinate than pronate. You might be able to see that in my hands. And here we go. Into the hard way, meeting the motion barrier. So this is now not so much decompressing the joints in particular, but more using the bone as a handle, one of our other techniques. Anyway, I'm on the road to making his feet feel better. Thanks for watching.